Welcome to The Tea with Martha, where we spill the tea on the untold truths and real struggles of entrepreneurship. I'm Martha Pachow, a fellow business owner who's learned the ins and outs of business the hard way. Get ready for unfiltered discussions on the highs, lows, and messy realities of entrepreneurship. It's time to spill the tea and vent it out with us. It is so awesome to have you here today, Pooja, and I'm excited to dive into your amazing journey because I think there's so many layers to your story. We could probably talk about so many things for hours.
Yes.
But, for the purpose of time, I want to welcome you to the tea, and I'm excited to spill the tea with my listener.
Thank you so much, Martha, for inviting me. It is a big honor that you thought of me, and I'm excited to share whatever knowledge I'm able to impart on any of our listeners and just share my experiences.
Awesome. Well, thank you again. I am so excited because we get the privilege of being friends and doing life together.
Yeah.
I remember thinking when I first met you, like, goodness, she's so gorgeous. And then we had babies together almost at the same time.
Yes.
And we've just kind of gone through the seasons of life, in tandem. Yeah, parallel. And here we are. And just as it was so beautiful, you and your husband had an amazing wedding and we had so much fun at it. And then you guys had beautiful babies and just being there through all that. And now seeing you just as this amazing, not only businesswoman, because you're a badass, but but just as the actual evolution of your womanhood and really tapping into who you are and tapping into the amazing gifts that you have and that God's given you, and you've just ran with them. So tell our listeners a little bit about you. Yes, you have Maquillage Beauty and other products that you sell. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But tell us a little bit about your story. Tell us about your business and how you built it.
Absolutely. So I like to consider myself an artist and a creative. The entrepreneur and business part came later in life. And I didn't go to school for anything business related, although I probably should have, because I learned from doing a lot of mistakes. And I own the company Maquillage Beauty. It has been around for about 14 years. And I'm an artist at trade. And so I started off just like a one-woman show, doing makeup for weddings, doing makeup for events. And the interest quickly grew for women to have makeup done for weddings, and my team grew. And so we went from about one person, me, up to about 45 artists at one point that worked for the company. And so it has been a beautiful, beautiful journey of a lot of learning, a lot of mistakes, a lot of trying different things. And now, like you mentioned, just stepping into the expansion of like, what's next for me, and can look back at the last 14 years and be like, damn, I did that.
Right.
And reflect. So this is such a good therapeutic opportunity for me too, to just recount all of the moments I've had in my company.
And I'm sure there's plenty. And so as I look at, in my life too, right, there's so many, sometimes it's even hard to pinpoint maybe the one pivotal moment or the one situation that transformed for good or for bad your situation, your plan. But can you pinpoint a time in your life where it was really a kind of a fork in the road and that really propelled you?
Yes. One pivotal point in my business, you would say, in the past like 14 years that I've owned the company. Gosh, there is one really pivotal point that sticks out to me, and it was around the time of COVID in 2020. And it had to do with really persevering through a time when there were no bookings, when there was, nothing to kind of latch onto, and there was no money to be able to pay that worked for my company. And so there was that point where it was like I wear all hats, and so here I am wearing all hats again. So I went back to doing emails. I went back to running the social media. I went back to doing all of it, and it was probably one of the most empowering moments in my life as well, because I had outsourced so much to everybody else over the years while growing it, and then in 2020 it was like a dead stop. And at that moment I realized, shit, I built this business all the way till here. And yes, it's all the way back in my hands again. And I'm doing all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a really, really, really empowering moment. There have been a lot of those, but that one sticks out to me the most.
So good. Yeah, I think it's a time where everyone that was alive, right? You either were going to crawl under a rock and die, because that's what I know I felt like I wanted to do.
Yes.
And or it was the time where you pivot, you roll your sleeves up, and you figure it out.
Yep.
And that is really the entrepreneurial spirit, right? That there's nothing that is out there that's written that says, okay, start a business and you're going to become a millionaire in a month and everything's going to work out. You're going to have amazing vendors. You're going to have amazing employees. Everything's just going to be rainbows and butterflies. No. Right? Like,
there's nothing like that.
And there's this notion that when we start our business, right? Like, we're going to conquer the world.
That we're going to for sure succeed.
Everything's going to go our way in our timing. And it's like this unsaid story that we all craft in our mind, I think.
Yes.
And I know a lot of people, and I like my circle of friends, and it's the thing we think.
Yeah.
And while that's why we start and it serves us, there comes a time where you just have to learn to be okay with it, to get
You get tested. I feel that business is probably the most important self journey anybody can go on. And running a business, running a company, it teaches you so much about yourself. So if you want to get to know more about you, run a company, run a business, start a company, grow a company, expand a company, quit a company, see what it feels like to have all of those experiences, because it's a parallel journey with yourself.
It sure is. And I think that there's something there when you think about who we've become. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Who do you say you've become in all of these 14 years, but then in the last maybe few post-COVID, during COVID, post-COVID, because you and your husband have built this beautiful parallel business empire. And I mean, that in itself is beautiful. I mean, your studio, your salon, your building is gorgeous. I mean, it's been showcased, and you've done a lot of amazing things.
Yeah.
And while, especially you being a creator, being a content creator, being in the beauty industry, I mean, you're a beautiful soul and a beautiful person outside as well. But tell us about that. Like, who have you become? What is that? The thing that doesn't look sexy on social, right? Like, the pictures are gorgeous. All your content and all your everything you put out in the world is just beautiful, because that's what you do.
Yeah.
But what's the thing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm ready. I can definitely share that with you. Like, I feel that the last 14 years of growing my company, like, I've been in survival mode. I've been in like a very fight or flight, state of mind in many ways, like chasing the dopamine of the reward of more money, more success, more this, more followers, more bookings. There's that thirst that comes when you're an entrepreneur that keeps you up at night. I mean, you're just not going to sleep. You're going to wake up at 3 a.m. with more ideas. You're going to wake up at 5 a.m. You're going to develop anxiety. You're going to develop like sleepless nights. You're going to feel the mom guilt. You're going to be out when you want to be with your kids. You're at work, and when you're at work, you want to be with your kids. And it's this crazy vicious cycle that actually doesn't stop until you stop it. And so that's the not so sexy part of running a company like this. It isn't what it seems. And yet it's the most beautiful journey about learning about yourself and like knowing where your limits are. And like, I'm relentless. Like, I went after this thing for 14 years and was like, this is it. This is my life. Like I have to, and it was a desire from a young age. I'm the middle of three girls, and like I'm a South Asian woman, and we came from a community that was like a very tight-knit community, and I never felt beautiful. I had acne at an early age. I was darker in skin tone than all my other friends. Long story short, I had a lot of self-esteem issues. So I was on a race to prove to the world that like I'm beautiful and you're beautiful and everyone in this world is beautiful. But I was doing it from this like outside perimeter of myself.
Mm-hmm.
And damn it, I made it pretty far.
Yeah.
And it's crazy what that inner hurt, that inner disappointment does as a young girl. It can really transform into some of the most beautiful things outside of yourself.
Yes, I can relate to that.
So that is the not so sexy part, and the beautiful part of it is like without all of these little traumas, we can't truly create all of these bigger things.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're just owning them and knowing like, yeah, there was this little child inner part of me that like never felt beautiful enough, wanted the world to be beautiful, like wanted it to be perfect, and feeling like I could do that by making a woman look ordinary and then extraordinary.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
and that's the beauty of the maybe the pain at one point turned into this beautiful garden. And
yeah.
And I think that as women, I was talking about this the other day with someone, how we crave beauty, right? We love the glitz, the glamour.
Yeah.
Even if we are in a robe and we're looking at someone else or looking at pictures of ourselves, you're like, wait, who's that person? That glitz and that glam. And it's so pretty. But I think that is the exterior. I think what happens when we polish and we bring the beauty out in others, in ourselves first, so that we could do it for other people. But specifically in your case, you're bringing out the beauty of these women on their special day and maybe their special event.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I know when I feel good, I do good.
Mm-hmm.
I behave in a way, I embody this person that they made me look like. I embody this.
You transform into her.
This alter ego of I become this person that I see in the mirror, even though I didn't wake up this way. But all of a sudden, I feel it.
You sit up straighter.
You sit up. You feel sexy. You just like, I can do this.
Yeah.
I can do the thing. And I just think that's such a gift that you have, because one, not everyone can do that. But secondly, I think it's an actual service to people.
Yeah.
And, as
you're serving your community.
You're serving your community, and you're serving women on their day where, you specialize in South Asian weddings.
Yep.
So those are multiple day weddings.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine what it is on the other side as being a bride, like in those moments, you really need a team. You need a team who's going to extract that from you.
Yes.
Like 2 events a day. It's not even a one event thing.
Nope.
It's just great when I think about that. But anyway, side note, I admire that, because that beauty, when we take it we extract out of people, that really is a gift. It's a gift that you have been given and that you continue to give. And how do you feel in this new season that maybe things have evolved from the 14 years and even from post-COVID times? And
absolutely.
Yeah. Where is your business now? And
happy to share. This last 18 months post-COVID, and I'd say the last 18 months, there was a boom after COVID where everybody got married and we were super busy. We hired a lot of artists. We taught a lot of people a lot of things, a lot of artistry. I feel like I've had a big impact on the community, have employed a lot of people, have, taught people a lot of things. That's my service to the community. I used to see it as a way where it was like, I taught everybody everything. Now everybody's going to do it. Not really, because there is only one me, and there is only one me when I was little that had all of those feelings to be able to transform and make it everything it is today. But I'd say I'm sitting here today and really realizing how much of it after COVID we had this boom. Sorry, I was going back. We had this boom, and then all of a sudden we're in this recession, inflation economy. Yeah. And that's been going on for about 18 months. And so the weddings have decreased, the bookings have decreased. And so what does an entrepreneur do? Entrepreneurs, they don't give up, they pivot.
Yeah.
They just pivot. They keep pivoting, and they keep understanding what it is they need, and they align it with what the community and the world needs. And those are the best entrepreneurs out there. They don't just give up. Steve Jobs, okay, iPhone, okay, no, a little bigger. iPad, okay, a little bigger, right? So constantly innovating and pivoting. And so just because you've had success in one area, great, good for you. But can you continue to have success as things change? Because change is the only inevitable thing that's going to happen to us. It just keeps changing.
Mm-hmm.
So recently we've come out with a line of products for digital creators, content creators, photographers, anybody that's in the social media, TikTok space, because that is the number one marketing tool these days. There is no billboard. There is SEO, sure. There's SEO, there's referral. Now people really trust in what Martha has to say. They really trust in what the neighbor has to say, because now we're all consumers of the world in many ways. So we've come out with products like the Maquillage Beauty Light, the Maquillage Mount. That's our content creator bundle. And that's for anybody wanting to create beautiful content on the go.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've had to pivot, and pivoting's hard. I don't know anything about buying product. I didn't. I learned. What is an MOQ? What is this? Packaging. How much does it cost to make a box? I want to put beautiful insert pamphlets inside. Is that bad for the the earth? Are people just going to throw it out? There's so many things to consider. But guess what? It's such a blessing, because now I get to learn something completely new that I didn't know how to do before. So just when you think you're at the top and you're killing it, remember you're back at the bottom again, and you go back into your chain.
Oh, I feel so
and then you start up again. And that is the beauty of entrepreneurship. That is what entrepreneurship means. Being an owner and a founder, that's one thing. Being an entrepreneur means rolling with the seasons, changing, pivoting, excelling, accepting you don't know everything, starting again at the bottom.
100%.
And that's okay.
Yes. And it's okay.
And it's great, actually.
Exactly. It's so hard because I think we attach our identity. We attach who we are. We attach this idea that this is how it's going to be. And this is my baby.
This is my business. And oh my gosh, no one touch it, and this and that. But it's fluid. Businesses are a co-creation always of the environment around us, our clients, and us.
Mm-hmm.
They're never fully owned by you or me, because without the rest of everyone else,
there would be nothing.
A business.
Yes. So true.
I keep that in mind a lot.
Yes, it is a way to keep us humble.
Grounded, humble.
Yes, we're just humbled. And I think from a place of humble, we can evolve, because when we're here, it's
you can't
so
see
hard.
anything else.
No. We're blindsided when things happen, thinking that everything's always going to go according to our projections and our spreadsheets.
And it's not. It couldn't be further from the truth. So it's being strong, but being soft. That's what I think entrepreneurship is about. Yes. It's being soft enough to go with the flow, but it's being strong enough and having a plan to know the direction that you're going. Yeah. You gotta have both.
And having that flexibility to
lots of flexibility
at a turn of a dime, just because we don't know what's on the other side.
We don't know.
The economy and things are changing daily. And that means we have to evolve. We have to change. The same thing is happening for me currently in my business. Things change, and what worked for us a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago is absolutely not working
and that's okay.
of a slew of reasons, right? Yeah. And so what are we supposed to do in this season of hard?
Yeah.
And I think back to when I started, right? We think back, I try to tap into...
That was a crazy time.
I did it then. I could do it again in a different way. I've learned a thing or two. I don't know everything.
No.
Because no one does.
Yeah.
But can I take that muscle I've already built?
Yeah.
I have a little bit of muscle.
Yeah.
And then maybe I can push through maybe faster, maybe, better, maybe in a different way. But there's something on the other side, and we don't know what it is until we push through the hard.
Until we push through. There's another thing I wanted to mention is like there's a certain amount of intuition that goes into building a business and building a company. And the intuition can't be taught. It's like it's something that you have or you don't have. And I like to call it like this emotional intelligence to understand like yourself and that gut feeling. A lot of times people come to me for mentorships and they're like, Pooja, give me the formula. Give me the formula. How am I going to make X, Y, Z?
Give me the worksheet.
Give me the worksheet. And I'm like, there is no worksheet. There is no manual. There is no even manual or book of life. There is no such thing. And I think it comes down to trusting yourself. No risk without, you can't have a reward without the risk. You know, you got to take both of them together. And everything you need to know is in your mind, but really it's in your body. So really trusting yourself and really using your intuition to know, do I purchase that property? Do I go for that? Because you're always going to get to that fork in the road in the business. Do I take this client for this amount of money or do I take this for this amount? Do I give this to them free? Do I discount? It's family and friends? How does that work? Do I buy the property? Do I invest in this? Do I take a chance on this employee? Do I not?
Yes.
And there is no, you're not going to be able to open up your manual or worksheet and look for that answer. You're going to have to sit with your intuition. And that's probably the strongest muscle you can build as an entrepreneur.
Yes. You hit the nail, on the spot. It just, I think that we underestimate, and I think there's a conversation there when, as women, I think growing up, I'll speak for myself. I think there's this notion of you look prettier when you're quiet, right? You just behave and follow the rules and smile your way through, even if you don't feel the feeling.
Yes.
Right? So we're putting this facade. And it's an unconscious, it teaches us unconsciously to put aside
the feelings
and put aside who we are at our core.
Absolutely.
And all of a sudden you start waking up. I remember this, right? I'm like, oh, I'm way more powerful than I ever thought I was. And I still second guess myself.
Yes.
Every day, probably.
That's part of the journey.
I don't think that will ever go away.
No.
But the intuition is the very thing that hasn't been, I think, acknowledged as much, right? Because it doesn't fit into this box of, well, the numbers matter. It makes sense. This is what's going to happen. Because there's always
1 + 1 = 2.
It doesn't. It usually doesn't.
Nope.
Our intuition oftentimes goes against the grain of what our mind tells us.
Yeah.
Because our mind is wanting to make sense of the formula of, okay, this is step 1, step 2, step 3.
Yep.
But then there's this gut feeling. I am learning more and more and more to go with my gut, even when my mind is telling me otherwise. And then I connect to my faith, right? Because I'm like, okay, God, if this is what I'm feeling, if this is for me, please make a way. Please, just make it happen because I really feel this in my heart. Yeah. Although this doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And I have often found when I go with my intuition against what maybe my team or maybe what, your people in your circle, whether it be family, whether it be your contract workers that are maybe experts in a field.
Yeah.
But I know inside of me, I'm like, okay, this doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
Or this is what I think I need to do.
Yeah.
And I'm often surprised. It doesn't always work out, but I'm often surprised at, gosh, I'm glad I did it. Or I didn't do it. And then I realized after the fact, dang it, I should have done what I felt I needed to do and not listen to whoever that was.
XYZ. I think that really speaks to being authentic to yourself and being real. And as women, we have this very powerful position. I mean, just years ago, there were no women in business, right? We have gone through the hustle culture, I would say. And that hustle culture is coming to like a screeching, screaming halt, whatever you want to call it, that going after it and survival mode and go for it and all of that, because us women, we're waking up. We realize that we don't need to prove that we can dress all in black and go and do what all the men do and be masculine and go out into the workforce, because guess what? We have that, and we have everything else. Right. And we have the intuition, and we have the ability to birth these babies, and we have the ability to feed them and nurture them, take care of them, cook, clean, whatever it is that builds your feminine essence, right? Mm-hmm. And so this next chapter, as you were asking, is really about aligning yourself with the right opportunities. Stop with the people pleasing. Stop trying to make everybody around you happy. And after these 10 years, 15 years in business for both of us, it really is that time to just fully align with what we're doing. We've already proven that we can do X, Y, Z. Now it's time to unwind and be like, if I just trust and let things flow and I'm not the expert anymore, what else can I create?
Absolutely. My word this year is surrender, and really trying to surrender those pieces of me that served me well, right? Yeah. That hustle, that
it did a lot for you.
Yeah, it does a lot for us. It allowed us to build our companies, to buy our properties, to do the thing that we wanted to do for whatever
reason, and not labeling it as good or bad.
Correct.
It is what it is. Thank that part of us.
Yes.
It got us to this point.
For that
it got us here.
And I'm also thankful for the awakening and this shift of the surrender. Literally surrendering, I don't want to do this anymore. Or I don't want it to look like that. I can maybe do the thing.
Yeah.
I can maybe still have my business.
Yeah.
But I have to allow myself to be different, have my boundaries, and not be the people pleaser, not feel bad because I can't be there, do everything, answer everyone, and be at their beck and call, because that came at a price. It comes at a very expensive price.
It does.
And yet, here we are in a different season. Mm-hmm. Our babies aren't, baby babies anymore. They're still, motherhood I don't think is ever over.
No.
But it looks a little different.
Yeah.
Because we can sleep a little better at night.
We can sleep a little better, minus my 3-year-old every now and then, toddling over. But it's different.
It's becoming, I see it. I see it in my circle. I see it around me. I see it in my friends. This shift of, what do I really authentically at my core want? What's going to make me, what's going to bring that femininity out of me?
Yeah.
Because this masculine energy that I've been putting out in the world, because I'm killing it over here, isn't who I want to be right now.
Yeah, and that's not all you are. And that's not all you are.
Right.
You have so many. I mean, I've been over to your house. You're always, welcoming people with food, and just this beautiful environment. And you're just such a great hostess. So you've got all of it. It's just trusting that's what you want to embrace next. You cook, and home is always clean, and you love it. That's your temple,
Yeah, it really is.
And so that's a part of you that you have that's really special. We've just been working out the left bicep, and now we need to go back over to the right one and be I need to, pump that one up too.
And isn't it okay to enjoy that, right? And not be this, I have to do this, I have to do that,
choices.
I can't do that. We
have choices now. We're not living 30, 40, 50 years ago where women were oppressed, not oppressed, voting rights and this and that. We're in a completely different generation, time in the life of the society and the world.
And it's okay to choose.
It's okay to choose.
And it's okay to be the ones, if you don't want to do the things. And I think that is also a whole other subject of, we are nurturers, and we were created to give life and then nurture.
Yeah.
And that is our intrinsic gift that you can't, whether you have children or not, but we are creators.
Yeah.
And we're creators of beauty.
Yeah.
And we are lovers. Women in general, give us a hug, tell us we're pretty, squeeze us, a good squeeze, and just embrace us, just hold us. Yeah. And you don't even need to say a word. You just need that feeling, that connection.
Absolutely.
Right? And so if we tap back into that, and that,
what can we create from there?
Oh my gosh. now knowing what we know and coupling it with the ability to choose, coupling with the freedom to be a go-getter, but also be this feminine
in the flow energy,
the flow lover of life and of your people and of all the beautiful things that God has created in our life and given us.
Yep.
And I know I haven't enjoyed it as much as I should because
I'm
of the hustle,
I'm
right?
the same. 14 years. Yeah. 14 years going. I watch you go. And I feel like Martha and I are just going. That's it. Working every weekend.
Yeah. And recently, I remember my mom saying, the sunset, growing up and driving or just being outside in the sunset and thinking like, okay, yeah, that's pretty. Like the colors of the sky. Okay. What I didn't understand what she was really. And now it's so funny because I say the same things. We have such beautiful sunsets.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just
Arizona sunsets. You can't beat them.
You cannot beat Arizona sunsets.
No.
And so now I tell my kids and now they do the same thing like, oh, okay, Mom, yeah, it's pretty. I'm like, no, just sit with it. It's so beautiful. And it came to me the other day, like I'm taking the moment and I don't care what I'm doing. Like even if I'm cooking dinner, I'll turn it off or and when I see the sunset, that's just gorgeous. Like, okay. I just go outside and I just take it in.
Yeah. And
because stop. That's life. Like, it's okay to stop and just
enjoy the moment.
Dinner can wait another 20 minutes.
Absolutely.
And if they can't, we can go get a snack. It's fine. Why am I hustling? Why am I killing myself?
Yeah.
It's a new season and I'm so excited that
it's a new
season for you too. And this awakening is happening and that we get to co-create and
in the way we choose.
With the people that we choose.
Yep.
And really just honing in on that.
Yeah.
What is our zone?
Yep.
What is not? What is our boundary?
Yep.
And honoring that.
Yeah.
So that we continue to
flourish.
Yeah. Well, this has been great.
Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing your heart. Thank you for sharing your story.
I feel like we could keep talking. There's so much information to go over, but
so much.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for being who you are, for just going after it and being so ambitious for a dream that like you know inside that was your path and now coming full circle with it. And we can't appreciate this side without having gone through everything.
Absolutely.
So thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you so much for those beautiful words. Thank you for being a light in my world too. I just always have admired you and we love your family and we love enjoying the good times and but more importantly these just good conversation. And for sure we could talk for hours.
We have a lot of these.
To have you on again.
We have a lot of these on and off the recording.
Next time we should just put on a recorder. We should just record our conversation.
I know.
This is great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Love you, Pooja.
Thank you for joining me on another episode. If you enjoyed today's tea, make sure to follow, rate, and leave a review. Stay connected with us on social media at The Tea with Martha for updates and behind-the-scenes moments. Remember, every woman's story is a sip of inspiration, and together we're brewing success. This is Martha signing off. Cheers!